today, for the people as going through normally in the world, so not being conchally or nicely, eloquently manipulative, and nothing to refer in, no mean, no opportunistic, no conveniently, no seeking for whatever the reasons of benefits. Just to the understanding, just to the real meaning that I want. I don't celebrate Christianism, I celebrate Mashiach, which we're called Jesus. But the reality of what we do is exactly as from the beginning heavy, but understanding as justifications, understanding as victims, innocents, and the ones that sensely fight it, even as culture delivered to. Can I tell you, narcissism, at the senses of rescuing the best ever to hold, like we discussed so long. Certainly to set at this day I am coming through so much things, like so much other, and this is not really nice. Gotta tell you one thing, we have been through problems, and I don't hurt maybe something which will be really interesting, for also I am in a very precarious state, missing research and missing ways to self-helping and proceeding for naturally able to. The reality of understanding as our people who are suffering, we suffer. Poured all over the net, even the inventions about this starts doing with my person and others. As around the reality of rapes by Fuerzas Armadas, Ejército Argentino, KIRSCHNERS, to our people, delivered like a fun, like a porn business, but the same within helping and assistance this same case, and covering, but sickly exposing at the net, like regular porn around for the people to celebrate and glorify the sick brother of the Guarda and saying it's okay to them. Just F word around. So showing who they are and what they do, which I'm going to do another way. And I'm going to expose another way, which is going to be relevantly clear enough anyway. And nothing which no cooperation for knowledge humanity making, but it's the degenerados seeking the opportunism and the argument of the fever of sickness that everyone is every day for, which I'm not inviting, and neither mobile being for. Like we say, if there doesn't exist this, they tries to force it because of that stimulates them and makes them thinking everything's going to be okay and they're going to be successfully and anybody will carry whatever they makes up. And if there is not at a force proceeding, they makes up any class of a situation to try to stage in that, and if not, makes it anyway, saying carry it because of the innovate. Now, Kervifaglekim Margaret Spasivi Ablevesman Seshe, Gertachla Masmasevakam. Gerarfechlach Mansi Bablegiviswol Masechla Ataki Seshvasimatlin. Gerret Chlamat Masesharet Kilit. Semovin. Gergira Betachman Sable Beswol Beserrite Shinitza Kalakhalakam Beot Beson. Like Lakir Bechman Masetli Seshvat Masevot Ke Oliminim. At the real for the day and the clear today, Christmas Eve. I am not touched for the moment, but culturally we have instance where most of the proceedings for what it is naturally. I am not not sure the humanity to humanizes. I'm sure it already were there, except for what is not human, the so difficult species to deal with, that shapes as if that would be. No, forgive me for this, as tough it is, you understand what I'm talking about. We live on fighting the sickness and we don't need them. I simply concerned about the clear fact that we know who we are, but as normally all through the survival in this world, so often we lose the most of the natural senses, which is exactly remaining. We are humans, with everything which already were there, already existed. But further that, the moment of killing ourselves, the moment of the embracing family and remaining when it is like the most human long, then you have that special treasure that you will ever spend a complete special night for the celebrating and remaining belongs with and belong together with the best ever you have. Culturally this affects us, which lifetime for that way like that, and in the senses of the reality of lifetime understanding what your root. When you understand Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, and you understand Admar, Pesach, Da'efov, and you need to be where you know it. And that's not easy when you are prohibited criminally for. Okay, ask please forgive me, I apologize. Reality for this is I'm not finding myself really so great. And there's every day a murderer because if I do not say up to what every day says, I would or have to putting that image about every day. Okay, I own certain other situation, and for to say this, we were discussing a very sincere, real point, a honest clear. Is that evident at the clever effect sachli dat les manachver nasat lekidisos pasmat ananaki. Gladnak at smar regisos roan tashi kaptat monskiliat glatis nish kbabakhan. Tlapspat likach ratachman masash liriat likach hat sabati a etleves shabash shabashmet. Reg fogamad matsalaki tzvata chalama. Illa shevosh ke atzmenoptima. Electia revefech nimitman masashvat biti. Keller revechanat lebesman masashvati garatva an serok. Lech chola chalam. Albete chola kirech alavat mas masashvan. Through and with, as times this all disasters, as while everything just came this way, nothing can really mean worse than all as problems we've just been through. That this all we just meant no. Kelrefech mitzamakaleki refechal asvad maseotikashvat achal an advanamatim. Be'eklika refech matzvad vesoshat mismat kalam te'osebov. Refachman and Savilki refech lidisman vaseshlaki diagamasa. Telki refech hot masel. Leoptica reflek maharesosan lidisman vaseshatika. Tlaki pa matnaseleshmot. Talibio remsum. Tlaki vernachman vasibil laktika refech matzvad lidisman vaseshatika. Red Khali Khadasmana. So suddenly it is this reality as every day is made you heard often. The battle is at the mind. What you see at the field is what you didn't solve inside. And what you don't have clear is what you have at your problem and yourself, and what you say pejoratively your words to others, that is talking about yourself. And it's not good to make a mock, and it's not good to telling nothing about no one, and it's not good to bullying and doesn't help. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Bullying is expressed at the side of elemental for the making inflammation of social ambient against one or two persons, and making social, psychological, moral, emotional, and even physical torture. So suddenly this class of as harassmentally, forgive me, implacement for instigations of destruction of peoples that I live every day here, by KIRSCHNERS, United Evangelics and much other, is exactly the element for less humanity that we don't need. But whenever you say bullying, while expressing a reality and a truth, and putting aware to the population that the truth is shown as real for the care of the population, you are making coverage of crime and criminal. So there's nothing to say about it. Let's put in order other things. Bedlisen revefech lakim revefech legivisosanatan implaki revesim. The spiritual side of the reality. What you have inside, you should ever understand what this to be. So clear for this, naturally at the point of our days, is often hearing from Christianism and also modern psychology, but not all, as a certain point of solve inside and you shall not have outside. It's like you will ever have the best ever intent as efforting every day for, and you shall solving what much as possibilities it wouldn't be. You have to, because it wouldn't be about you or upon you. But you don't have to carry neither. Then, neither putting the blame in others or making the right elemental for resenting and producing hatred or ill for worse. So naturally, at the side of this reality, we can find out a very wide elemental for diverse as destructive, implaced, clear elements as lives weren't for the reality to go through and never done to be. So, this is a certain element that carries a lot of people so much pain and so much torture and suffers because of people kids in a very permanent, clear as fighting against the ghost, pretending there to exist and are fogs, while in the fog you don't see the reality but the fog itself, and you pretend to pull off or push away what a fog can deliver into certain elements that you think you see while moving, and you see things and you can, oh my God, I got to put you out. But you see just the fog moving, and the fog you make like this, and what the fog covers you hardly see while it remains all around. Is it? Now, Gargale stach matlechi vismatla visechi shvata king karefechalam. Gargale fechalaki gargale les matla visechi shvan matlechi limsi. And like the kamarave fechalak visos like misechana lesim. So suddenly, belli kimigran las patla vispon shvasef. Techli kimagras es matan at levisana. Clearly about this is a certain state of naedlik bachtigim. You are being under suppression or in a very state of, not saying alienation, let's saying damages and trampled and also invaded and also profaned. So truth that this is not getting crazy, but nobody likes to be croaked by sickness and not having the control, understanding that there is danger that you go through. I'm sorry for this, but we can even fighting this in a different way. First of all, understand there is a real God, and as this happens, is exactly something is going to be solved, and justice is going to be. Now, Gerrebe Bachmatsecha Likim Rebe Fechla Kamatzen. Leika Rebe Fechla Kidisos Laves Malasech Hishvat Matsecha Libiot the Galaf. Samat Lechmanim. Berlisen Rebe Fechla Kamatzeli Kin Rebe Fechwad Levis Manaseshvat Si Ablektika Rasmasam. In Lesmi Tabashosidiv. Keatnev. Now, while and through the situations and circumstances, you conceived a very reality, that possibility you didn't solve. I'm telling you what we, not necessarily at all, what we discussed a little bit, which Melech and the responsible wish I to say something, not necessarily at all. Help me on this. If, while and through your life, means the clear of what it is, the intention for you to having the elemental as naturally conceived by you, at the reality of what it means life to be possible to ahead. There are people that conceives life in a very different ways, and others criminally, and others mainly, and others sickly. But whoever normal sense that's best embraceable proceeds to make it right, best ever have of the day. Normally, in an instant of the soul, you found out that possibilities happens all through. You just have to do certain pushed, forced, or deliberately unthanked, that word, but at the unthanked can both means be. Suddenly the mix of English and dimiv is not the best to express, but delivers into morphology that you're going to know by ankles, which is going to be put out shortly for people to know. Forgive me for my space, it's not enough for now having, but I'm making process with my YouTube. That will be great. Now, it will be awesome to do it. Forgive me, please. The realities as not even tak mansevon, which as this knowing or acknowledgeless, just being through with no clear fact of cognitive capacity to acquiring or acquiring for the reality of going through and remaining. Your conscience, your life, your days, maturing, growing, proceeding, whatever to be, for the reason of it doesn't mean you would not be mature while you embrace a normal life, and you know as person you are, how to do and how to proceed in life. But each as times you just go through and you need to mature certain other realities, situations, circumstances, ways to actually proceed with, and every day as you move on, you normally have to understand and have to acquiring the cognitive capacity to proceed at the learning as ever to dismiss, which is not really for us you to proceed even at the moment, and how to dismissing, and how to proceed at the making the best ever understanding and cognition through the best ever making the right normal you, normal how, normal when, normal with, which, whom, as anybody would. And that is maturing. My God, sorry, maturing. Or maturing in. have a, my God, disconnected, I'm forgive me. Selikimatla is difficult. I'm going to explain you after. Forgive me, just. Well, reality. While and this to comes around, while and this just happens, evidently maturing is part of a normal proceeding to having a best ever state of capacities as person for mating itself, to having a very normal proceeding to life, be life, and understanding as person to having a normal state, honorabilities, respects, values, normal elements for any social, personal, as ever this, your scheme of life, your person. Naturally happens. So you grow, you proceed, you have more than acquisitions. At the everydays, you just hold, which it means living at who you are, isn't it? Right. Now, between these lines all through this course and about this ways and above everything as you may appreciate in some other moment to having the clear of the whole, it's Sit Ishman, Kelvin. While you just went around, you could understand that it really meant and it really were and can still go. But between lines and course and real meanings and real actions and you and the whole, there exists that inside of you, there exists you with you as you done and you produced and affected all through as you grew. But outside of you, others the same like you, and others with distinguishedly moments to the making as each identity proceeds forward. Right. Now, living together. You proceed at the making normal, everybody, everyone, clearly receives none, tells Sidish. And normally, everyone proceeds at the clearly reflecting. And everybody clearly reflecting then. Quel revesmat lach in itabel clear, reflechan of levisfot lach not second the oblevisos like in a second ishbal not like in. Lekil kama blech masechal give so levisash like in a refechmat semal. Is it? Then, quel revefechlik is not levisash lachan, not like it is sot levisman sakiv. Lekilik revesam. Example. Quel tibach like in a revesop levisos levisman the kishkolach habet lamesiv. Leki lakin revefechal chanot like it is sot levisman lamesimat, leki yachar sev lesos tivak. Lesh masikanach molevin bablek it is sos mativ. Leilaki rachel vasmat levisos leki vishosar. Legligin revechol vesmasana. Let's put in some element for that somebody's guessing around that I want to further anybody. This is a card reader. As a clip, you can put it right in your, if thin, a bell, or simply at your chins, blekti, reves machmat, smatleki, desvat, through. And suddenly, you have this, or innovative, but very keys sets, or beret less. And you have it, like naturally, this were invented for. You go ahead, and you have access. You may not see this now, forgive me. And I come, and I got it out of you. dismiss it naturally, can remove it and putting other, and using severely times and with a different capacities field. But you have a matrix and an element which is your source and your connection for, and you need this for this to work all through this way, or any other which gives you the capacity for you to use it like it were produced for. While this all happens, you count with you had to and acquiring this for you to use it and having this essentially for this to work at a smooth him, naturally you are gonna need it for. Now, this is a universal element that you need accessories for the possible you to go through and you to use it for devices. And devices that provides you these uses as you will ever need, as you will ever just proceed with the using that you acquired devices, right? Videos, photos, voice recording, communications, notes, messages, backups, documental, personal. And you have this because of you are at the season needing for you to use what at the season to demand, or naturally you will perceive that the social life you go through is not like something you have to consuming, but is something like at a social day, and socially it provides you from benefits, oh my god, come on, from benefit to benefit, exactly, videos you can send MMSs telling in a very express, it's you, your face, your talking, your communication, which not only words to a person that you need to, hey yo, listen to me, this is real. And not only that, but notifications, elements, and hubs, and the publishments, and the letters, mails, and series, traditionals, professionals, personals, familiars, work, hiring, your own business, neighbor, your own natural living base, and your condition as this is around. Oh my god, annoying. Thank you. Alright, so through this, you have the capacities as this device provides you. I see I have a WhatsApp. I never used WhatsApp anymore until I just removed my SIM, and I never used it before this Android because of I couldn't install in the before one which I'm using there. I'm sorry. Well, so suddenly I count with an element which at the season is really useful for everything, and I can making documentals, I navigate on internet, informative element for multimedia, communications devices, also to having out what socially we today go through. Example, but this provides me the extra capacity whenever I don't have the full capacity here and my exigency is extra, so works. Now, this device provides me the possibility USB to connect to the laptop, but that also brings the risk as to I can damage my device over whatever the state of this other, so this works like unit for controllably is better to use. So this is useful, and I come for my accessory, and I come to my laptop, and I process, and I make whatever naturally as the season it will be useful whatever to produce. While you mean your life is not this, it's not this, it's not this, but the reality of you. As you go through your life and you proceed, you need to access the reality of your multimedia. Your multimedia is how do you proceed in your life to understand, comprehend, being you, share, limitate, close doors, open others, to whom, what, which, And you proceed not like a device, but you proceed over the hasek selefim, as capacities you to provide yourself, and you develop and grow, and not like a curse around. And you understand what I say? Is a serious element of living. You provide yourself the capacity to do. You may not come in for a micro SD or a micro DMT, but you're gonna come for some help at the reality of you to have a best element for remaining, how possibly you're taking notes or using a multimedia phone or some laptop to making your letters, your diary, your sketch, your whatever diagrams, your whatever agenda, or whatever this to be, even in your house or in your emails. So suddenly you develop your moment, you're through, you grow, and you develop as atzimi, how to proceed, and even an interaction with devices for as your capacity you ever have as documentally, as reality, not for and with as why not prints of your life, which is not for the prints, but it's for you go through. So suddenly, at the reality of this, you go for accessories. A laptop, tablet, Android, you go for accessories. Palm, you go for accessories. DRMT, you go for accessories. PMC, and you go for capacities. You grow, you fight the possibility, you understand yourself. You improve mentally, go to knowing yourself through your walking, through you do the best ever and build the best ever, understanding what it means and how you would and who you. And through this you go for capacities, and capacities are how best you provide yourself the reality of you and what it will mean you and your immediate. You really have as your patrimony. It doesn't mean only what as element of affordable work, even careers, and also as even whatever you can, not for accumulating, but proceed at the savings or having business, having properties. Patrimony is the immediate, as even holding as not naturally, normally you do and you produce in your life, normally, decently building and having the best effort, what you have right in the normal, immediate, as family, as mate, as persons you love, friends, communities you will embrace, with the real, interesting, clear fact of your genuinely to being there with them and they with you, being part of. So you belong one each other and understanding. So often you go through things that the others goes as well them. And you transition a day, which is not easy sometimes to find out face to face and saying, all right, I don't like that, well, I don't see you no more. Okay, but you have to let me because of I have rights. And making a suppression or suppressive charge over a permission for the, okay, I understand you, while actually should be a very dynamic on, not necessarily deliver at the point for the stress instant on the tension to agony and antagony and argue and disaster, and you have your klechmasi and suddenly so the day we're disgusting, but not necessarily, but you understand what I say, we are not. But the picture of the worst of the whole of the moments, that we are not monsters, but there or trying to reduce it at your life, you got to understand the best ever to do is you got to even holding the best breath for you to understand even though you still can. The problem with at Akimu Ansvoktu Charatman, the problem is not us, the problem is not Adonai, which Adonai is working the same eye. And I'm sorry for this dilatation of time and the whole of the disaster. We are working for justice to be placed and this to be somehow at the justice clear. And I am not delirious nor schizophrenic, neither delusional, unless hallucinating. This is happening. But at the clear, the problem is not us, the problem is not Al-Chai and as we work, but the problem is this class that are around for making exactly what we suffer, that is what they does, goes for, and every day exists around. Like a life, well, is a simple agony over rottens ever kablekim achemisim, as if there will be the plechivifechmatsim with the purpose to be sickly, abominably, worse of whatever ever known until today. You know, black tea karmaklich visatlikar vefeglebuant likimivratesman, masachli bishvat dikarat khalibilant ladesman, masfat visok tishvat tachnanim. It's not going to help us. Then the reality is kleki rafechlachmat lakim rafochleki bisfatlik rafechleki insman basmalvin dal kibetach lakim sachal basmal bisi bapleki bikam garabtach lachmat sivim bapleki rafachmat sebopleki Shlakesh shokava shlakesh kul amerrarefamat lebisfotika amerratachnimat lechvot masavot kelo rafechleki misachli bishmat klechrat lamasmal masachli bismal basiv Kelchertach machal viot lebesval bisman vasechli gishmat vachlach matzi applikabam. Techliki macham. Ablet tafeshpotliki ravefechalak magrat maplaki bispad matzechli viot lebesval masef shwatz. Kaleropa pati tiana tzmaplaki ravefechalak masachli gimeravema. Lekimer ravefechalak matli visuk lebespartech legimisman ashat lekasur patika. Ale komarima plech massiva plek rovafel besotl maspat lekim retasmat siva plek mil daklikan retach lach matsia lebeso shatlik magras masal tsalegish potech lakim rovafel lebesman betlak tikemeso shpatim gal rovafel lakim rovafel lekim tavaspa tachlekim rovafel lekim slebos putum matleki rav khalbesman besal bismod besot lekim gal retach la masafat lekim rovafel lebesman besal bismod lekim tachdash masif Talkibi tanchat matzegel kimachar v'fachlek nisad liyam tladesvod masesh kelpot tikarchat chalamat lavis manavasat libisos bat tikarchalamat lavis masibeta kerchlach matzibab lesishiv. Accessories, capacities, medias, materialness. But listen, so suddenly you found that Bleki Chamaplech Masik Shvatidin, but let's see in the name of Jesus and Bleki Bechmatzin. Betlikim Arabefech Lachim, Solomaki Gomoraka, trying to put in Blech Masech Lakim, put it on me in the name of Jesus and Bleki Bechlagim Sisik at Kaden. Blekim Arabefech Lachmasik Shvatlachim, and you found your life invaded for parasites, whole class, destroying you, suppressing you, and making you class of a very gondola for demons and abominations, for the which don't have to be and don't have to happen this way. But the altar, the witchcraft, that oh my God, what do I do? Evidently you don't have way out, but evidently there is one way out. Adonai is our way out. God is real, El Chai. And Adon, I am Aliyah. He brought me for a reason. We were working, Adonai shown himself. We are suffering a disaster, but even though we still have a God and we still are. Myself, remaining and keeping what we know we build it, And we have for the best of what we exist. Let me ring who we are and who we exist and who we love. The immediate patrimony. Badlicin kahrame flechat lachina rave fechol chamat levisvotlikim rave fachim levisvotlikim asim. Research, seek, wait, klechma, seek ishvasim. Justice, that is crime. We understand where is the justice and where not. Well, already cases, already trials, already sues, already the reality verdicts. Okay, who, when, where. Prosecutor, Adlet license office, Glemer Ravefachlin, Desmasim, New York, coalition, Blechmasik Levis Patlakish Masachalakam, Resesim, Mr. President Barak, Mr. President Eril Rivlin, Rebedach Mitson, Levis Patlakim Ratefslibish, Vatmatlechi Platis Vasenim, Kel Ravefachlachamatsibash Vasenim, that's working, Klek Marresim, being careful, understanding, recognizing where is, who is, and when. Understanding the dangers, what the strategies, what the ways, logistics that Likimerim Sab can work. This overwhelming, overposters me over all. I cannot with this. But the synchron plech visima, plech vishvod, me prechavala, tima, plevis masechalin, revefech leginisop, levisvech leginisosla, kime revefol, vesvisim. We're working, I keep on working. Forgive me for this last and for the disasters, I'm sorry. Badlicen Ravefech Lakim Ravefach Levi, Babletzimot Legi, Ravechal Linis, Vatikim Ravefech Legivisot Linisvat, Likim Ravesesh Vasimavim. And the reality, carefully, Matlevisot, Lenisvat, Tika, Batikim Ravesmon, Veset Likim Ravefech Levisonitzin. But one thing you cannot let go, like we said today. Frustrations can happen, but frustration cannot consist in your death. Please. And in frustration, we cut to analyzing where and why. There to not happen anymore or rescuing what was lost. And how to do. We can understand this is a reality which there are not the only reason or way. And even though before it in terms of obstructing and pressure making and so evidence to producing whatever element for edge around and we do not have no way out. Sighting and cloud of a cage, no way to fly. Even though still there is a high and we still are. I'm sorry for the pains, for the loss, for the disasters. Like in Marafel, what must like Strach, Bats, now with a bloody Bohmat, this man is a lady Schmark.